Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Les Brown's Motivational Monday Night Call, your place for motivation and inspiration by world-renowned speaker, author, coach, Mr. Les Brown, featuring Mr. Brown and his platinum speakers. My name is Dr. Stacie N.C. Grant, and I have the privilege and the blessing of being your host for these Monday night calls. I want to welcome all of our new listeners who have found out about the call, who have joined the family, and our faithful participants in our community here that continue to share the word and share it out. Mr. Brown and the entire team is very, very grateful for you and how you show up in the world. So thank you for being here and being a part of our family. We want to invite you to visit lesbrown.com. That's lesbrown.com for information on new releases and updates that will be coming out from Les Brown Enterprises, as well as connecting with Mr. Brown on Facebook. That's brown.les on Facebook. And there you'll get some of his quotes and words that he shares on a daily basis. And if you are interested in contacting us for any reason, you can do that straight through the website, or you can send my team a message at info@destinydesignersuniversity.com. That's info, all spelled out, Destiny, D-E-S-T-I-N-Y, designers, D-E-S-I-G-N-E-R-S, university, spelled out, .com. So with that being said, we want to welcome you again to our call. It is Monday, June 27th, 2016. This is the last Monday in the second quarter of this year. So I really hope that you are planning to finish 2016 second quarter strong as you are moving into the third quarter and experiencing the transformations in your own life that will bring you to where you want to be when it's all said and done, the ending of this year. Now, those who were on the call the last couple of weeks, you were able to hear Mr. Brown live, share his inspiration, share his story, be able to inspire you even in the midst of his own physical challenges. And Les wanted me to thank each and every one of you that have reached out for the messages that you shared on this call, those who sent emails that have been helpful as he's sorting through different ways to deal with the pain and the recovery from sciatic nerve damage. So we appreciate all of you, and he says thank you, and thank you for just letting him know that the work that he does is not in vain, and that you appreciate his voice, his platform, and the body of work that he has created on this planet for over 7 decades. Nothing to sneeze at. We're so excited that you still find so much knowledge and information in the YouTube videos and the books that he's written, in the live appearances that he's made, and as well being able to use social media as another form of getting that information out. But tonight I want to share something with you, and the importance of 2 things as we look at where we are right now, as you think about your goals and your dreams, as you think about the things that you said in January 1st, all the resolutions, all the desires of your heart, the things that you wanted to get done this year, as you listen to motivational speakers like Les Brown, like myself, all those that you can find on the internet or connect with on social media. And every time you hear a voice, every time you listen to what they have to say, it ignites a little bit of excitement inside your spirit. It ignites some more hope and opportunity in what you're able to do and to accomplish in your own life. And you're really excited because you realize that we're cut from the same cloth, that if you're on this call tonight, that if you've heard Mr. Les Brown, if you've heard my voice, if you've heard the other platinum speakers, that we all desire one major thing, and that is to constantly work on our personal growth and development, to constantly be in the space of positive thinkers, to be a part of communities of collaborative, achievement-driven relationships that push us, as we say in my company at Destiny Designers University, to the next best version of ourselves by turning that inspiration into results. And not just feeling good for the moment, but analyzing what kind of steps, what progress, what benchmarks can we look at to show that we're not just listening to the words that excite us, not just in a space of, oh my gosh, he is amazing. Oh my goodness, she is so awesome. But taking the words that are deposited inside your spirit, that are settling in your soul, and using that as fuel so that you can have your own example of success. Les talks about it all the time, that there's greatness in you. But you have to take that greatness and to do something with it. So the first thing that I want to invite you to do on this last Monday of the second quarter of 2016 is to evaluate just how far you've been able to grow. Now listen to me now. Grow, not just go, but grow through this year. What changes have you made? What assessments have you made in your life? What new learning have you done or accomplished or invested in? What new programs, what new coaches, what new conferences? Where have you put your time? I think it was Einstein that might have talked about the thinking that we have, the old thinking that we've been holding on to, carrying, can't be the same thinking that's going to take you into a new version of who you're going to be. That is not going to allow you the latitude to grow if you stay stuck doing the same thing over and over again. I believe he talked about that being the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. But when you start to shift, when you start to do something different, when you start to expand your mind and watch what is deposited inside, it'll allow you a new way forward. I love when Les talks about the old adage about garbage in. He says it's not garbage in, garbage out. If garbage gets in, garbage stays in. So we have to watch what we're listening to, what we're ingesting inside of us, whether that be through the things we read, the places we go, the conversations we have, the people that we speak to. How is that allowing us to move forward and take the next step? How are you measuring your progress? Now, I don't want you to get overwhelmed and say, Dr. Stacie, I can't believe I didn't do this, 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 and this. I said I wanted to do these 10 things since January. It's now the ending of June, and I haven't gotten them all done. No, what I want you to do is celebrate what you have done. What have you actually accomplished? Where have you seen some movement? Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say, and you need to take consistent steps, consistent action over a period of time to really reap the results that you're looking for. So this is just a insert into your daily schedule. The first thing that I'm sharing with you tonight about evaluating the progress of where you are this last Monday of the second quarter of 2016. We start a new quarter come Friday. So you want to finish strong. You want to put yourself in a position of saying, let me just analyze the truth. Sometimes we run from the truth. Sometimes we run from the reality. And let me be the first to tell you, I'll share with you, one of the areas I constantly have to visit is the health and wellness piece, because our health really is our wealth, as you've heard many people say, and going through, encouraging Les through this period in time where the pain from the sciatic nerve is so much that it can really interrupt his daily schedule, but he's determined to push through. He's determined to get the various treatments and get the information that will allow him a faster healing process. It's still a reminder of how important it is for us to value our health and to take care of it. But look here, everybody, I still struggle with the extra Snicker bar and the 2 other pieces of wings. It's hard because I love to eat. And I'm not going to stop eating the things that I like per se, but I can be more responsible in what I put in my body and then actually move my body so that I can keep things circulating, so that I can do this work on the road, Mr. Brown, that I can continue to travel internationally, that I continue to affect the lives of the people that I'm blessed to meet and blessed to coach and blessed to work with. And I can't take that for granted. But I had to evaluate for myself. And let me just tell you, and you don't tell anybody else, as we're ending out this second quarter, if I were to grade myself on a report card for what I've done in this particular area, I don't know if I can get above a C, because I knew the things that I needed to do, but I made excuses as to why I wasn't getting it done. It can be as simple as drinking more water. parking further away from the building to walk a little bit more, committing to my 3 days a week of exercise. But with my schedule being as fast-paced and I'm traveling here, I'm speaking there, I'm doing this workshop, I gave myself an excuse. I gave myself an out. I don't know if you can relate. What have you given yourself an out with for these first 2 quarters of 2016? Where have you been a little bit lenient in the discipline that is required for you to get the results that you seek? So I'm doing what I'm sharing with you is to evaluate the benchmark, particularly in my health and wellness, as I focus on finishing strong for the second quarter. So it might not have been perfect the last couple of weeks, but in these next couple of days, I can start focusing more on what to do right. So if you're able to write this down, I want you to just make this little note. And I had this discussion with a friend of mine who is a holistic doctor, and she was talking about the fact that sometimes we spend way too much time beating ourselves up on the things we've done wrong rather than just making the corrective behavior in the areas that we can do better. So what does that mean? Self-correct. Write that down right now. Self-correct right now. You don't have to go and repent for the whole rest of 2016 on the things you have not actually hit the mark on the things that you have not actually completed. No, switch that energy. Switch that over into, well, let me get started today. Let me make one change right now. Let me do something over these next 4 days to prove to myself that I have the capacity to be able to still make a change in the right direction. And then when you start focusing more on the right things, when you start focusing more on the right decisions, I don't know what it is for you. Maybe it's about clearing debt. And you had some goals and dreams at the beginning of this year that you wanted to be debt-free, and your money might still be circulating. That's fine. Start finding ways to cut back on spending in areas that you might not need to so that you can start to increase your debt consolidation. Maybe it's not finances. Maybe it might be relationships that haven't been healed or mended, or you're trying to build and expand, and you need to put some more energy behind cultivating the very thing that you're looking for. Maybe you're like me, and it might be your health and wellness and just get better care of yourself and keeping the disciplines that you know that will allow this one body, because let me remind everybody, we only get one. And whatever we do with this one is going to affect how we enjoy the rest of our lives. So making that decision to do things better. Myron Pemberton, who is on this call, he shared some information with me and for less about Kagan water. I had heard someone talk about it, but I didn't know much on what it could do. But just stretching your mind, opening up yourself to ways in which you can enhance and you can protect and you can sustain your very existence on the planet. So I don't know what it is for you, what you've been working on, pushing through, where are your benchmarks that you need to measure, but take the time between now and Thursday to really have that honest conversation, that you're not just listening to words of inspiration, you're not just feeling good for the moment we gather together on this call, but you're taking deliberate steps and you're taking actions that are leading you to the next best version of who you are. So that's the first thing. Self-correct, recalibrate, get on track to finish the second quarter strong, and set yourself up for the kind of success that you seek in the third and fourth quarter. Now, the second thing that I want to share tonight is around the importance of relationships, the value in relationships. And there are 3 parts of that I'm going to just share with you tonight. I'm laying it on thick because this is the last Monday. And I pray I get to see the next Monday and the rest of the year, but I don't know. But I want to leave you with something tonight, something concrete to do and think about as you measure your benchmarks, as you look at where you are, where you need to turn up the volume, where you need to tighten the screws on the discipline in your life, and get the support that you need to make it happen. So in the value of relationships, you'll hear Mr. Brown refer to this all the time about communities of collaborative, achievement-driven relationships. Because if you're in constant contact with individuals who are not growing, who are not reading, who are not investing in conferences, who are not listening to other motivational inspirational speeches and platforms and products, they're not going to understand your language. They're not going to understand your drive. They're not going to know why you stay up later so you can get more work in, why you work out listening to the voices of individuals that are telling you information. They're not going to get it because they haven't expanded their mind. They haven't opened up themselves to the world that we live in. Here on this Motivational Monday Night Call, you're here because we're cut from the same cloth. You want more from life. You're not just taking the average. You're allergic to average. You're moving in a space of consistent growth and development. And the value in the relationships in your life will allow you to open up new doors of opportunity. So I'm going to explain this to you in a quick story. About a year ago, I was doing a job for a client in Harlem, New York. And it was at a high school, pretty large high school in the area. And the principal would ask for volunteers from the student body to help us set up the night before and to help us set up during the actual day of the conference and just be of assistance. So a small group of students raised their hands, they volunteered, they were there. But there was this one young man named Elijah. And Elijah kept coming back and he kept checking in. Oh, okay, Dr. Stacie, we set up the chairs and the tables over there. Is there anything else you need? No, Elijah, we're done there. Let's see if we need any help in the other room where the other physicians are setting up for this particular program. Okay, Dr. Stacie, I'll be right back. And he would scurry off. He would do the assignment. He'd come back. Okay, Dr. Stacie, I'm finished. I'm done. Is there anything else that you need? And he did that for the entire day. This was an all-day program. And I had to stop while we were packing up and ask the principal, who is this young man? He is so helpful. He's so poised. He has such personality. He is just absolutely amazing. And he said, oh, yes, Dr. Stacie, this is one of our best students. He has an excellent attendance average. His GPA is phenomenal. He's been on some of our study abroad programs. We're really, really proud of him. So I said, really? So at the end of the conference, I said, Elijah, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to take my personal cell number, and I want you to stay in contact with me. I want you to tell me where you plan to go to school, if you need any help, because you really, really impressed me today, and I really want to follow your journey. Now, listen, everyone. There are times when we meet people. There are times when someone will say something to you and give you a free card. Like those of you that know the Monopoly game, the get out of jail free card, that's the one you always want to get dealt to you if you're familiar with that board game, because it can save you when something comes up during the game that you want to avoid. And we have to be willing to recognize those opportunities. Well, Elijah, he recognized that opportunity. He took my number. I didn't hear from him for basically the entire school year, this past school year, until he came home. And he remembered to do this. Write this down, big, bold. If you're not driving, if you have a pen in your hand, if you can write this down, follow up. He came home and he followed up and left me a voicemail saying, Dr. Stacie, I'm back home. I just completed my first year at Morehouse College. I am working on earning some money over the summer so that I can help alleviate some of the financial burden on my mom. We have multiple children in our house, and I don't know how she does it, but I want to at least earn some money to cover my books and help with tuition before I go back. I'm selling these gourmet knives, and I would love to sit down and meet with you so I can show them to you, and maybe you might be interested. I listened to that voicemail, and I said, is this talented young man spending his entire summer trying to sell gourmet knives on commission? Not that there was anything wrong with that, because I sold Kirby vacuum cleaners when I was in college. So that might bring it back for some of you old enough to remember Kirby vacuum cleaners. But I recognized that there was some additional talent. The greatness that was inside of him was shining so bright. I just knew that I had to do a little bit more for Elijah. So I returned the call. And I said, Elijah, thank you so much for following up and reaching out when you came home. I'm actually going to be in Harlem speaking at an event tomorrow. Is there any way you can meet me? And he said, oh, sure, Dr. Stacie, I'll show up. I have something in the afternoon, but I'll come in the morning. I'll bring the knives with me, and I will go ahead and be able to sit down with you and let you know what I'm doing. I said, awesome. I'll see you tomorrow. So he showed up. That's number 2. So I hope you wrote down number 1. Number 1 is follow up. Number 2 is show up. So he showed up, and where we were having the event is a state building. So they're calling me in the middle of the program saying, there's a young man downstairs with a set of knives waiting to see you. And I'm like, okay, in the world that we're living in, you can't really just walk around with a load of knives without explaining. But he explained what it was and the product, and they just needed me to okay for him to come up. So he came up, and I was in the middle of going back on the microphone, and I was so impressed that he, 1, followed up, 2, showed up, that I had to do a little bit more once again for Elijah. So in front of the entire audience of attendees and entrepreneurs and sponsors, I told the same story I just shared with you. And I said, if anybody has an opportunity, if anybody has a summer job or an opportunity for this young man to earn some money, please see him. And before I could finish my sentence, a colleague of mine jumped up and said, Dr. Stacie, I have him. I have a project I need him to do. He can earn some money with me. Someone else jumped up. I'll also help. Let me give you my card. Follow up with me, young man. And he was completely overwhelmed. He didn't expect it. He didn't know I was going to do that. But he followed up and he showed up. See, there's sometimes when blessings are looking for you. They're seeking you as much as you're seeking them. But then we don't follow up and we don't show up. And I'm determined to turn that whole concept on its head, because I was guilty of forgetting to follow up on great opportunities. And then when they get in the hands of someone else, I couldn't be upset. I couldn't be angry because somebody else followed up on my opportunity. So I always use it as a teachable moment, the importance of following up and then showing up. But here's where it gets really sweet. He came to talk to me, came to show me the knives. He didn't know I was going to do that, but he decided to volunteer and be of service during the rest of the event with what was needed. Now, they were a little short-staffed on some of what they were organizing and preparing for, so it worked out perfectly that he was able to be of service. And that's number 3. Be of service. Find a way that you can add value. Find a way that you can serve. Gandhi, he has a quote that I've used so many times. I'm afraid God is going to come up out of the grave and say, look here, Dr. Stacie, let go of my quote for a little bit. But I love it because it summarizes the spirit of what I do on a daily basis. He said the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. I'll repeat that again. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And Elijah stayed and served. And from that, he was able to make multiple contacts and start earning some money. And then guess what happened? Because he did such a good job following up, showing up, and being of service, I invited him to another event, high profile, in New York City, Midtown, Crown Plaza Hotel, where I was the host for this Network Journal's 40 Under 40 Awards. He came dressed, ready, not getting ready. He was ready. And he showed up once again. And I was able to share his story once again. And now we have 4 times the amount of people in this room than the first time. And he was so overwhelmed with the business cards and the people stopping him because I had them put the spotlight on Elijah to affirm and congratulate this young man of color doing the right thing, making the right choices and decisions, following up, showing up, and being of service. So much so till the organizers of the event didn't even realize that he came as my guest. They thought that they had hired him at a temp agency to be a part of the program. That's how well he worked. Why am I telling you this story? Because I want you to have an Elijah testimony. I want you to be able to follow up, show up, and be of service in a way that these next 2 quarters of 2016 are absolutely absolutely explosive for you. That the very thing that you're seeking is also seeking you. That the opportunities, the provision, the blessings, the products, the services, all the things that you are putting your hand to, that you're working toward, that you're building, that you're growing on your job or in your entrepreneurial endeavor is allowing you the opportunity to hit some pay dirt, the opportunity to win now. You know Mr. Brown's book is not over until you win, and this year is not over. This second quarter is ending, but the year is not over. And if you finish this quarter strong, if you get your mindset together, if you recalibrate and get into self-correcting the things that haven't worked well in the past 2 quarters, if you move into building relationships like Elijah has now done, not just with me, but with the people that he's now been introduced to. He's following up with them. He's showing up at offices for meetings. He has a limited amount of time before he goes back to school, but he's maximizing his energy in the space of cultivating relationships that will allow him options for internships next year, options for postgraduate studies, options for his siblings who are still in the process of applying and looking toward college in the next year and stair steps after that. That's the power of relationships. It's the power of who you are surrounding yourself with, people that can open up doors and opportunities, people that can train you, people that can coach you, people that can show you a shorter learning curve towards some of the areas in your life that you're going to have to face. Because you're going to have to face some things on your journey. But those things have not come to stay, they come to pass, and you have the capacity to win. So it's not over until you get to that next best version of yourself, until you do the self-examination, until you have the honest conversation that I had to have with myself. Yeah, I'm going to have to get back on that track. Get back to walking, jogging, running, whichever one, however I can commit, but make the commitment. Stacie, stop. Stop making excuses. Get out and do what you need to do. Stacie, stop complaining about how much time you need or extra time you would like. Make use of what you have now and continue to build a relationship that will hold me accountable to continue bringing the best of who I am so that I can liberate others to do the same. See, everybody on this line, everybody listening tonight, you have an assignment. And your assignment might be as huge as Oprah Winfrey or Barack Obama, or it can be just as important as the crossing guard on your local block helping children get to school safely each day, or the public servants who service in our community, or those who take the ultimate sacrifice of serving our country and protecting our freedoms. But whatever that assignment is, you have to do that assignment at the best, brightest, and brilliant way you can. So it's incumbent on us that at this juncture, at this portion of the second quarter of 2016, that we leave this conversation fired up and empowered to do the work on finishing strong so that we can continue to cultivate the right relationships for the next 2 months to make this year the best one that we've had yet. See, Elijah's on track for that. I'm so excited about this young man and his future because he is not letting anything get in his way of staying open, staying coachable, and following the golden rules of following up, showing up, and being of service. So much I could say more about Elijah, but I'm going to just leave it there because I really am excited about those of you on this call that are going to do even more. Maybe you might be the person to provide an opportunity to an Elijah. Or maybe you might be the Elijah on this call that somebody else will come and offer you a chance and an opportunity. But if you don't follow up, and if you don't show up, and if you don't add value by being of service, it can delay the progress and the success that you seek. And while that is relative, the one thing that is for sure, unless we live our life in a way that we leave this planet better than we found it, where truly is the meaning of our lives. So that's my story tonight, and I'm sticking to it. And I hope and pray that it sparks something inside of you, that I've made you a little uncomfortable in your belly, that your soul is leaping because you are ready to not just be inspired for a moment, but to take the action that will show the proven results of the greatness that lives inside of you. So before I open up the call, I want to invite you once again to visit lesbrown.com for information on upcoming programs and some of the new things that Mr. Brown will be doing while he is taking a little break from being on the road and just taking care of his body, as well as his communication with you on Facebook. And that's brown.les on Facebook. And you can connect with me on Facebook, Periscope, all social media. All of my handles are right on our website, which is destinydesignersuniversity.com. And you can just click and follow us on any one of those platforms. I absolutely love Periscope, so you can find me there at STACIENC Grant, Stacie NC Grant. I'm the only one on the planet. The world couldn't do it a second. So I'm going to open up the call right now. If you have a comment or a question or this touched you in any way, please share that before we close out our call tonight.
All callers are unmuted. All callers are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the lines are not open. Hello. Whose beautiful voice is this?
This is Karen again. Oh, my goodness, I cannot believe I'm on again.
You got through, Karen. It must be your day, girl.
I cannot believe it. But I just want to say thank you for this. Since November of last year, I've been on that road, like Les Brown saying, unstuck. And May of last month, I got laid off. But it was a blessing because it forced me to go into who I really am. I am a wellness beauty coach and self-care. And just this day, I took a leap of faith and got into the School of Integration Nutrition in New York. And I've been trying to get in this since last year. Come to find out, they had a grant, and they got in contact with me because they knew that I was trying. Because out of the blue, I had to move. I moved like 3 times in 1 year. But I just kept listening to Les Brown and Zig Ziglar and Dr. Wayne Dyer. I mean, all of these. Also, Robert Kiyosaki. I read his book. All of that to keep me going. And I just kept on saying, I cannot finish until I win. And just before I got on the call, I was listening to Unstuck Again by Les Brown. So I just can't believe I got on here again. But I just wanted to share it. I'm like Elijah. I'm taking out a leap of faith. I'm scared, but I know I can do this. And now I'm ready. And I have a story to tell, and I have a service to give because I want to help people in hair and body and mind. And that's my calling, and that's where I'm going, and that's what I'm shooting for. So just keep me in your prayers.
Absolutely, and stay in touch and let us know if we can support that journey. Just visit our website and some of our additional classes and programs that will help you to stay focused on the journey. I have a book coming out called Action Despite the Distraction, 7 Life Lessons on How to Live and Thrive in Your Destiny Now. So it's all about getting that support, staying the course, and doing those things that are going to give you the results. So congratulations on not giving up, pushing forward, and saying this is why I do what I do. This is why Mr. Brown has built this platform, that we're not just here to fill space. We're here to give you tools and information that will help empower you so the best of who you are comes out to the world, because every time you win, every time everyone on this call wins, then somebody else can win because you set the example.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stacie. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome. And thank you for sharing your thoughts. And I think I saw somebody else trying to unmute, so let me allow them an opportunity. And you better keep in touch now. Let me know how things go, okay?
Oh, I will.
Awesome.
Thank you again.
You're welcome. I heard someone else there. I see you're trying to unmute. Just make sure your line isn't muted as well, or we won't be able to hear you. Right before we get ready for our next call, I'm going to have to jump off, but go right ahead. Yes, go right ahead.
Hi, this is Lewis out of Detroit.
Hi, Lewis. How you doing?
Hey, I'm super good. How about yourself?
Great and greater. Every time I breathe God's breath. Yes, indeed.
Well, this is my first time getting on this year. I've been on, for the past year or two. So this January, actually, I took, the notes and started pursuing one of my goals, and that is obtaining a real estate license. So I came across a couple of challenges and failed the test a couple of times. So I'm kind of and reserving myself to get ready to go back at the end of this month, to pass it and get my license. So
awesome.
Tonight's story was just right on point with Elijah, following up and being persistent. One of the things that I learned, I think it was Jim Rohns that said, you learn more by losing than you do by winning. So in that, I just wanted to say, shout out to whoever, shout out to you as well, Stacie. Let's keep up the good work. I enjoy you so much. Look forward to reading your book. And I thank you so much for tonight.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And congratulations to you on getting your real estate license. That's what it's about. We need to celebrate the actions and get it done, because we can sit back and be inspired and still broke. We got to do something to change the game. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I have a time for one more person. I think I heard someone else trying to unmute, but if not, we're going to close out this call so I can prepare for our next one. But we appreciate your time. We appreciate your voices. We appreciate how you are showing up in the world. Continue. Don't give up. Don't quit. It's not over until you win. This is Dr. Stacie N.C. Grant on behalf of Mr. Brown and the entire family. Continue to have an awesome life and leave a phenomenal impact on the footprint of our hearts. Bye-bye, everyone.